Bunting. From sacrifice bunting to squeeze plays to bunting for a hit. Flip card baseball has them all. Every batter has a sacrifice bunt rating, and the bunt ratings are number 1 through 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Ken Griffey Jr., sacrifice rating the worst. If you come down to the bottom of the lineup here, you've got Felix Furman as a 10, Dan Wilson, and Tino Martinez used to bunt a little bit more, it looks like. If you want to bunt, you call the bunt. You get the batter's sacrifice rating and you flip a card over. It'll show you here exactly what to do. Now, for instance, and probably about 50% of the time it's going to be successful bunt without too many checks. This one here is a successful bunt. Catcher to the second baseman covering first. That's a sacrifice. Runner goes up to second base. Here, bunting grades 9 and 10 are successful. So anytime you see a number range, within that range is a successful bunt, the others get out. And the out's always in brackets. So this one's a pop-up double play. So the catcher to the leading base to get the second out. So there's a few double plays there as well. If you were a 9 or 10, you would use the outfielder, the second baseman, the catcher there, and you would just two forward or 2-3 it down to first, and the runner would move up to second base. Here's an instance here where no one succeeds, it's just a pop up to 3. Sacrifice grades 4 to 10 succeed. So that would be like a 5-3 or a 5-4 across the diamond in a sacrifice. But sacrifice grades 1 to 3 would be a fielder's choice. The third baseman to the leading base. So it might be a 5-4 or 5-6, whichever way you're playing that. Here, and there's not many of these cards, but that's a sacrifice to the first baseman. But we're also going to check the batter's jump rating to see if he actually beat the throw. So again, it's all about the range. If you're within the range, it's a sacrifice hit. That's always an outfielder or the out section, but you can use that fielder for a successful bunt. The next thing is the bunting for a hit. Bunting for a hit in the version 5 is on the cards. So you'll have a B hit, there's a number in front and a number behind. Again, a number in front, number behind. So the number in front is the percentage chance for the person to get a bunt hit. So Furman comes up, you call a bunt hit. 1 to 22 is a bunt hit. I guess you're trying to keep out of the double play, you're not striking out. If it's not that, say it's outside of the range, you flip a card, you get the out on the card. So in this case, 2-4, 2-3, whichever. If it is a bunt hit, you got a bunt single. Now, I have a rule that if you call a bunt single and you are successful, you can then choose outside of the game's engine to steal a base if you so choose. Use that in fictional play a little bit more, but that's a sort of house rule that I have. The second number is always 30 beyond the bunt for a hit number. So that is basically saying you can sacrifice to run it down to the next base. So in a sacrifice situation, you can still bunt for a hit, the sacrifice percentage is going to be lower generally, but there's still a chance. So instead of having maybe like a 70% chance, well, this guy, he's probably got a 90 or 95% chance with a 10 sacrifice rating. Bunting for a hit, he's got a 1 to 22 chance of getting the hit, but a 52% chance of getting the sacrifice instead of a 90. But he's got more chance of getting on base himself. As I said, the little bunt for a hit readings on the normal sacrifice chart don't come up very often. There might be only a few of those in the deck. So if you want a bunt for a hit, you do it this way. If you're doing it with a runner on as well, there is a chance for sacrifice. But if you don't get it, chance to get the lead runner out more. Before the bunt ratings were on, or the bunt for hit ratings were on the card, and you could get the percentage quite easily from the card, you had to do some calculations. And this is the original bunt for hit chart. You can see on the left-hand side, over here, we've got the jump ratings against the bunt rating. And that's how you get the bunt for a hit percentage. Now with that chart, if you were to do it with the chart, there are some extra rules. On rolls of 10, you could bring in great fielding plays or foul balls or 2 strikes. And then on the next play, it'd be -5 on the contact. So all of those, well, there you go, a strike, the lead base runner in a rundown. So all those plays could happen depending on whether the bunt was good or not. There were also some other things as well. All doubles are throwing error checks. There's some infielding ones. So there's a couple of different rules and a little bit of variation there, which sort of adds to the gameplay. I don't use that because the bunting stuff is on the card. Oftentimes you don't bunt anyway, but depending on the situation, the era. There's also squeeze play. Now, you use your bunt rating 1 through 10, obviously, and the contact again. And this will give you percentage of the squeeze play working. So if we had Felix Furman up, he's a 10 sacrifice. With a man on is a K14. So 10 sacrifice, K14, 75% chance of the squeeze play working. Ken Griffey Jr., he's a 1 sacrifice and a K8. 25% chance of the squeeze play working. So there's guys that are going to be suited to the squeeze play and guys that are not. All rolls are 10s, the base runner jump rating. All doubles is a fielder check. So there's a couple of different things there. You can mix it up a little bit. But pretty straightforward normally for a sacrifice. Get the number, flip the bunting section. It'll tell you whether it's successful or not. If it's not, there's a fielder there. If it is, use the fielder in the outs bracket to make the out for the successful sacrifice down at first. Bunt for a hit. The number before is the bunt for a hit percentage. The number after is if you're bunting for a hit with the man also to be sacrificed. And if it's between 21 and 50 on this one, it'll be a sacrifice. So 1 to 20 would be a bunt for a hit. 21 to 50 a sacrifice. 51 to 100 would be a fielder's choice. The lead runner would be out. Or if there's nobody on, the batter would just be out at first. That's bunting. There's a few different things there. Let me know if you have any questions.